bring in our think tank tonight, and we've got a great one in Wisconsin. Criminal defense attorney Jason Luzak joins us. In studio, criminal defense attorneys Stephen Byrne and Eklund Mercy, and criminal defense attorney, entertainment attorney, and former prosecutor Daryl Cohen. All right, Jason, I want to start with you. Does this even sound like self-defense to you, the story that she told today?
It's a tough sell. It's especially tough whenever you consider the couple of pieces of physical evidence that were not explained away in the testimony, which is somewhat surprising given the fact that it appeared that she was very well rehearsed. I thought that the emotion was somewhat lacking, but the two main questions that I have is, how did Alex's body end up in the back seat of the vehicle when police arrived, and why was the scarf, Ezra's scarf, around his neck? There was no mention of that, and I think that that is something that jurors, particularly in a case like this, are going to struggle to explain away if they think that if they're leaning towards self-defense.
Eklund, did it sound like self-defense what she was describing in the back seat there?
Oh, the story sounded ridiculous. I had no idea what.
But take it at face value, did it sound like self-defense?
No, it sounds like after the sixth stab, it was just fun for her. That's what it just sounds like. And as Jason stated, that there was no emotion. I did not get any of it. I don't see that she was feeling self-defense. So her story was ridiculous.
Stephen?
You can't forget what she said the entire day. This was her biggest day of her life. She had the whole courtroom to herself. She did an excellent job on direct examination. I agree with Jason. She was prepared. Her attorney was great with the questioning. She was not emotional, but that may be her personality.
I'm still trying to figure out her personality. I don't know what it is. Daryl, what did you hear in what she told this jury today in trying to describe what happened in the back seat on that muddy road?
I heard an evolving truth. Truth today was not yesterday's truth. I didn't hear self-defense. Maybe I should have, but what I heard is self-offense. Nothing of her testimony told me that she was telling the truth. The fact that she was or was not emotional, that doesn't bother me. Yes, she was well prepared, but no, her story does not hold water. And which time are you telling the truth? The first time, the second time, the third time? Not at all is a real answer.
When we come back, a lot more to talk about. We're also going to talk about the son. Now, for those of you who already know what I'm talking about, wow. But for those of you who don't, wait till you find out what she says about the son, S-U-N.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-497-5903. That's 1-800-497-5903 now.
Best Fiends. Collect JoJo and tons of other cute characters. Solve thousands of fun puzzles. Download Best Fiends for free today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
This is Kate.
Hey.
She takes 2 prescriptions. Kate's son Jack takes 1 too. Kate works hard and thought she had good insurance. But she still pays too much. That's no good. So Kate downloaded the GoodRx app. Now she can compare prescription prices to find the best discounts. She even beats her insurance price. Good for you, Kate. Good for you. GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today.
If you're behind on your mortgage payments, threatened with foreclosure, denied a loan modification, or have been the victim of a predatory loan, the Stop Foreclosure Group can help. You have rights, and we have options. Call now for a free consultation.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
Attention! If you vape or if your child vapes, listen closely. The design of Juul products and the high potency of nicotine in the device may addict young adults for life. Vaping can lead to serious health problems, including nicotine addiction, respiratory issues, strokes, seizures, and more. You may be able to recover money if you or your child is addicted to vaping or suffers from severe health problems from using e-cigarettes. A single Juul pod may contain the same level of nicotine as an entire pack of cigarettes. The brains of young adults suffer the most from nicotine addiction because their developing brains are more susceptible to long-term harm. It's time to hold Juul and other vape companies accountable. Compensation may be available for those addicted to vaping or suffering from vape-related health problems.
Call Sokolov Law 1-800-617-8452 for a free legal consultation. 1-800-617-8452. 1-800-617-8452. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
He also used the word son, S-U-N. Was
Yes.
he referring to anything specific when he told you you were his son?
Yes, he had a pet name for.
I know this is embarrassing. So.
This is embarrassing for me. It's in reference to my vagina. The sun, the blaze, the warmth. He would often talk about how my intimate area was his sun. S-U-N.
I just didn't get the feeling that she was really embarrassed by all of that. I mean, is it just me? Or was she kind of reveling in this description of the sun? Bring back in the think tank. Eklund?
I can't.
Was she embarrassed? Did you think she was legitimately embarrassed, or was she loving this? Because that was the one moment that she, to me, just looked and sounded like Jodi Arias.
Yes, because she is making a full campaign to have Anne Hathaway play her in an independent film. I am good. Like, I can't with the bad poetry, the bad references, and the bad journal entries. She is getting what she wants, and that is... And that is all of it. People talking about her, comparing her to Jodi Arias, comparing her to all this other stuff. She is getting what she wants. It is ridiculous.
Jason, do you think she was embarrassed talking about the sun?
No, not at all. I mean, her lawyer was the one who said, I'm sure you're embarrassed by this, and then kind of picked up on the cue. I didn't get embarrassment at all in the way that she was saying it, frankly.
Because the defense has to attack the victim. So her testimony about the son, who does it hurt more? The man that she stabbed 16 times or the defendant herself?
Well, I don't even know the relevance of all of this. This is just made for TV movie fodder. This is going to come up and be the line that advertises the movie when it comes out. I don't see the relevance in the first. What does this have to do with anything except everybody making jokes about it now?
Daryl? The jury heard it. The jury heard it. So what is the jury going to do with the son?
They're going to wait and see if there's another son. that's located in another place. I think it has absolutely no relevance. And by the way, if it becomes a TV movie, she's not going to make any money. There's Son of Sam laws. She's going to make nothing. But on the other hand,
that's Son of Sam, S-O-N, not S-U-N.
They resemble each other, absolutely. And quite frankly, she and Jody, they may want to play each other should Jody's new motion for new trial be granted.
It's unbelievable. Okay, more testimony. And this is the cross, talking about her grabbing the knife. Because remember what her story is now, right? There's this BDSM taking place in the back seat of her car, right? Her car that she drove to his house and picked him up and drove to a muddy road that she got stuck in the mud, okay? And it's her knife also. Take a listen.
And if I understood your story as you told it to us today, this morning, or actually this afternoon, you need Alex in the groin and the knife fell out of his hand, correct?
Correct.
And then you grabbed the knife, correct?
Correct.
Right. It's not what you told Detective Prock, is it?
I don't believe so. I would
In fact, you told Detective Prock that you grabbed the knife by the blade, correct?
I believe I've said that, yes.
All right, and got it away from Alex by grabbing it by the blade, correct?
I might have said that, yes.
And you said that it hurt a lot when you did that, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, the story's changing. It's changing on the fly in the courtroom. Now, the second story is maybe better, maybe not better. Jason, let me ask you about this, because if in fact they're in the back seat and she doesn't have her glasses on, she knees him in the groin and the knife drops, and she has already testified she can't see anything without her glasses. Somehow she found the knife, like instantaneously. Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, there are certain bits of her story which seem to give rise to this idea that there might be self-defense at play, but the whole BDSM thing, all of that stuff cuts both ways. I mean, if they're into this knife play and all of this stuff like that, why is she jumping to the conclusion that immediately she has to use deadly force against Alex in the backseat of that vehicle?
Yeah, all right, Stephen, I'll let you defend her. I mean, you're a great defense attorney. You can defend them all.
I can defend them all, and I think she had a good day. The problem that she has is the prosecutor has all night to prepare, read her testimony, and get ready for the morning. That's going to be a tough time for her.
Tough time. What do you think about the knee to the groin, Daryl? And I'm talking about what she says happened in the back seat, right? He's threatening her. She feels like he's going to kill me. I don't know why. There wasn't a reason really explained, but he's going to kill me. And somehow she's able to knee him in the groin, and boom, that knife falls to the ground, and she's able to grab it.
Well, as she testified, it cuts both ways. So she grabbed it. She doesn't necessarily need to be able to see, but if she's going to grab it by the blade and it hurts, there's going to be blood coming from her hand, and it's going to be profuse blood, because when you are grabbing something quickly, you don't gently pick it up. You grab it to look for it, and it found you. Her story is preposterous. I think not only did she have a bad day, but she gave a great performance. She's going to have a bad life.
Eklund, do people remember, and I'm a little confused by this, do people remember things better like right after it happens, or maybe months and months and months and months and months later when they're on trial for murder?
For trial for murder, right after, that's a loaded question, right after it happens. But here's the thing, as a glasses wearer myself, who can't see anything without my glasses.
Okay.
I can't even answer the phone unless I have my glasses on. So the story of her searching for the knife, the first thing I'm searching for is my glasses, and then I peace out and I'm out the car. So it makes no sense. If you have anybody who lives by their glasses like I do, the first thing that you're looking for is your glasses.
Steve, 10 seconds, go ahead.
You don't remember everything when it happens. People have memories that could happen years later. She was in a state of panic. Her memory could go either way.
All right, when we come back, folks, if you missed the testimony today, you are going to see it tonight. We're breaking it down piece by piece. Don't go anywhere.
He was seeing someone who was identifying as a male.
Erza McCandless had changed her name from Monica to Ezra. She is standing trial for stabbing one of her lovers to death.
Was this murder?
She fought to survive.
How many stab wounds are too much for self-defense?
Her wounds could have been self-inflicted.
This case is about a twisted form of love.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-549-6270. That's 800-549-6270.
Hi, my name is Sam Davis, and I'm going to tell you about exciting plans available to anyone with Medicare. Many plans provide broad coverage and still may save you money on monthly premiums and prescription drugs. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits, but you have to meet a deductible for each, and then you're still responsible for 20% of the cost. Next, let's look at a Medicare supplement plan. As you can see, they cover the same things as Original Medicare, and they also cover your Medicare deductibles and coinsurance, but they often have higher monthly premiums and no prescription drug coverage. Now, let's take a look at Humana's Medicare Advantage plans. With a Humana Medicare plan, hospital stays, doctor office visits, and Medicare deductibles are covered. And of course, most Humana Medicare Advantage plans include prescription drug coverage. In fact, in 2018, Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan members saved an estimated $7,400 on average on their prescription costs. Most Humana Medicare Advantage plans help you stay active and keep fit by including a Silver Sneakers fitness program at no extra cost. And you may be able to save on dental and vision expenses because coverage is now included with most Humana Medicare Advantage plans. You get all this coverage for as low as a $0 monthly plan premium in many areas. And your doctor and hospital may already be a part of Humana's large network. If you want the facts, call right now for the free decision guide from Humana. There is no obligation, so call the number on your screen right now to see if your doctor is in our network, to find out if you could save on your prescriptions, and to get our free decision guide. Licensed Humana sales agents are standing by, so call now.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. See disclaimer for law firms.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to financial compensation. If you or a loved one used Roundup weed killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call the number on your screen now. The World Health Organization has designated glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup weed killer, a probable human carcinogen. Thousands of agricultural workers may have been exposed to serious health risks by using this product. You may be owed significant compensation from the manufacturer. Call now to find out if you qualify. If you or someone you loved used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait, there are time deadlines to file a claim.
1-800-568-4852.
Welcome back, folks. A huge day in Wisconsin because Erza McCandless, she's accused of murder, and she says it was self-defense. She's in the back seat of her Chevy with her ex-lover, stabs him 16 times. Well, today, she gave a little more background and context to her relationship with the man she stabbed and killed, Alex Woodworth. And it all involves 4 letters, BDSM. Take a look.
First of all, are there many journal phrases where Alex would refer to love and do what you will?
Yes.
Did you take the journals and count up what you thought, how many times that he would actually refer to that phrase in his journals?
Yes.
How many times did you count?
Roughly, it was the high 20s into the 30s. It's deeply woven into the journals.
Was that phrase also deeply woven into your relationship?
Yes, it seemed like instead of your typical morning text message, it would be a text of love and do as you will. Or he would somehow bring it into almost every conversation we would have. Intimately, just normal conversation at the coffee shop, at home. It was always a part of every day.
I'm going to ask you about some specific sexual acts between you and Alex, all right?
All right.
As your sexual relationship progressed into January and February,
Yes.
did the sexual acts between you and Alex undergo a change from what they had been?
Yes.
Can you please tell us what that was?
Well, from what I said before, the more vanilla, it turned into what at times could be considered a BDSM relationship.
And what does BDSM mean?
BDSM is bind, dominance, and it can be submissive or sadomasochist. It depends on what sector you're in, if it's submissive, dominant, or sadomasochism.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this with respect to Alex, okay?
Yes.
Have you heard, in respect to BDSM, what a safe word is?
Yes.
What is a safe word?
In a BDSM relationship, a safe word is essentially, it's one of the most important parts of the relationship, I consider. It's when in an act, when something is getting too much for you or one of the partners or the submissive. And a safe word is something that individual can say when it's just too much and it's time to stop.
In sexuality, first of all, with regard to Alex, what role did you play, the dominant or the submissive?
I took the role of submissive.
And in that role, did Alex and you have a safe word?
I suggested it, but we did not agree, and we did not have a safe word, no.
Why didn't you agree? What did Alex tell you with respect to not having a safe word?
He didn't prefer a safe word. He told me in our relationship that he didn't want that, essentially. It didn't play into kind of what he wanted to get out of the relationship.
And I'm going to ask you about some specific sexual acts. First of all, I'm going to ask you about wax, or what's called wax play.
Wax play is when you use a candle or a wax-like substance, and you drip or drain it onto your partner, the submissive.
Before you referred to prone, and we only discussed prone in terms of you being face down, was there another aspect to what was called prone that eventually developed in your sexual relationship with Alex?
What eventually developed with this prone position is the desire for the submissive in this role to be in a what is commonly called a chokehold, or to appear to be unconscious.
Was that something he did with you?
Yes.
Let me ask you, how is it that without a safe word, in your mind, did this connect at all with what Alex used to say to you about your flaws and vulnerability?
Yes.
Can you please explain that to us?
In an act like this, or in a sexual act without a safe word, it is hard for me as an individual to be vulnerable. I was uncomfortable with the idea of no safe word, and he demanded from me to be vulnerable in these times, and that was hard for me.
In addition to the wax and the chokehold thing you described, was there ever a time back in your relationship in January or February where Alex used a knife when having sex with you?
Yes, he had cut a pair of my pants that I had one day, It never went as far to touch or graze my skin. He just ripped through some holes that were already on my pants. And I threw them away after that.
What was your reaction to these things? The wax, the chokehold, the knife, that one occasion. What was your reaction to these?
My reaction, I was very supportive of his dominance at first. I wanted him to feel like he can express himself. And I was also exploring. With the wax, it was different and it was a bit strange for me at first, but it was fine. I found I had issues with the prone position and being in a chokehold from behind. I started to not enjoy that. It was really just not what I wanted, and I had voiced my opinion a few times. It wasn't with my alignment. The time he had cut my pants, he ripped through some holes already and he cut them. And I was a bit frustrated at the sense that, oh great, I have to throw some pants away now. But it made me a bit uncomfortable because it was so sudden and so new.
All right, the context and nature of the relationship. And the question is, number one, will the jury buy it? Number two, is this perhaps part of the defense here? Does it help her? Let me bring back in my think tank. So explain to me, Stephen, how we get from this to, yes, it was okay to stab Alex Woodworth in the back seat.
I'm not seeing the connection. I really want to. I'm riveted by what she's talking about, but I don't still know how it all fits together. Maybe in the closing argument, the attorney will put it all together. I'm confused.
Yeah, Darrell, it seems to be more compelling if they never had this BDSM relationship and he's got a knife and he's doing things. But according to her, it's part of the relationship.
But if that wasn't brought up by her, she would have left her stage much more quickly. Oh, did I say stage? I meant the witness stand that much more quickly. Look, she was so frightened that she went back for more. She was so uncomfortable, she went back for more. This is just more window dressing that means nothing, that a jury is going to look at and say, really? Not working for me. She is riveting, but not because she's telling the truth. Riveting because she's telling a story. Edgar Allan Poe would be proud.
No safe word.
Yeah, so here's the thing. With regards to the no safe word, the defense had an opportunity and they missed it. I would have brought an actual expert witness to talk about BDSM and, and the words like the procking, the chokeholds and things of that nature, and whether relationships without safe words actually exist. Having her testify to her own knowledge of it really doesn't help the jury and really does nothing to her credibility. But having somebody else outside testify and that, hey, this is, I guess, the industry standard would definitely help her more.
Once again, Jason, to me, it seems like she's enjoying educating the jury about all of this.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but see, here's the thing. If we're talking about a battle of motives here, the state really, at least the defense, is giving us some motivation for how Alex, or why she would have this idea that he's so dangerous, that he's into this BDSM thing to such an extreme degree that maybe he's into physical violence, which I think that's where the defense is going. And when you compare it to the state, I mean, the state's motive is a mess at this point. It's hard to say how Jason Mengel or anyone else goes into her motive to stab him multiple times. So, I mean, if we're talking a battle of the motives here, I think that the defense is winning at this point.
Yeah, I will agree with you that the state's alleged motive here is troubling, but I think it's troubling because it's what's happening inside the mind of this killer. Okay, she's an admitted killer. She killed Alex Woodworth, but I think her mind is so twisted the way she thinks that we're not going to get that clear, clean motive that we get in other cases, because this one is way different. When we come back, part of that difference, remember that word boy that is carved into her arm? Well, why did she do that? Well, she tried to explain today. I'll let you judge whether or not there was an actual answer to that question.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-497-5903. That's 1-800-497-5903 now.
Best Fiends. Collect JoJo and tons of other cute characters. Solve thousands of fun puzzles. Download Best Fiends for free today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Attention landscapers and anyone working in the landscape industry. This is an important alert for users of the weed killer Roundup that have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Juries have awarded over $2 billion to users of Roundup who were subsequently diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Roundup is the most widely used herbicide in the United States, with billions of pounds applied each year. Farm workers and landscapers are at the highest risk of injury from exposure. Time is limited to file a claim. If you work with Roundup Weed Killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline now. You could be entitled to significant compensation. Farm workers and landscapers are at the highest risk of injury from exposure. If you've been exposed to Roundup and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, time is limited to file a claim. Don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline right now. You could be entitled to significant compensation.
Call 800-890-4183, 800-890-4183.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, I have an important message. You may be entitled to receive disability benefits through Social Security. Call the Citizens Disability Helpline today for a free, no-obligation consultation.
This is Kate.
Hey.
She takes 2 prescriptions. Kate's son Jack takes one too. Kate works hard and thought she had good insurance. But she still pays too much. That's no good. So Kate downloaded the GoodRx app. Now she can compare prescription prices to find the best discounts. She even beats her insurance price. Good for you, Kate. Good for you. GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 monthly premiums or $0 deductibles. Call now. The consultation is free and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-533-4258. That's 1-800-533-4258.
One of the strange facts in this case is the fact that the word boy is carved into the left arm, the top of the left arm of the defendant, Erza McCandless. And she told 2 different stories about it, but now it seems like she is saying, okay, yeah, I am the one who did it. So today on the witness stand, she tried to explain why.
All right, so you decide you need to go. Are you kind of like almost feeling like things are black at all, or are you conscious, or what's going on with you?
I'm feeling like I feel dizzy and faint, like I can't catch my breath, that things are starting to go black at the sides. It felt like I was in a tunnel, like I could only see so much around me.
Does Alex keep talking, or eventually, or, does he stop at some point?
He was not talking anymore at that point.
And when you're in the car, do you find your glasses?
Yes.
Was this the first time you found your glasses?
Yes.
Up until that point, you had problems with what you could see?
Yes, I couldn't see at all. I hadn't put my glasses on yet.
When you put your glasses on, what do you do next?
I put my glasses on and I could see everything. And I'm sorry, this is the point when I decided I needed to go. I needed to get out of there. I was panicking. I couldn't breathe.
Did you see a phone?
Yes,
Whose phone?
I seen Alex's phone.
Did you take it?
Yes.
Why?
In my head, I wanted to call the police. I wanted to get help. I wanted to do anything I could do.
All right, at that point, you're thinking that as you leave the car, do you still have the knife?
Yes.
What do you do with that knife?
What I did with that knife is I looked down and I opened my sleeve with the tip of it and I hastily scratched the word boy into my arm.
Okay, everyone wants to know, why did you scratch boy into your arm?
I've thought about it, and when I think about this, I don't know. At that time, it's something that just happened. It was just a reaction. I don't know why I did this.
Had you ever cut yourself before?
Yes.
When had you cut yourself before?
In the past, when I had cut myself on my arm, was at times when I felt like I couldn't breathe, when I felt numb, when I felt like I needed to act because I couldn't feel anything. It woke me up in a sense.
Did you feel that way at this time?
Yes.
Objection. Relevance. I know 402 or 404, I mean.
I think I'm asking about her feelings right afterwards. We're right in this incident. I'm asking her what she's feeling.
Well, I'm going to overrule. Go ahead, continue.
Thank you. All right, you've already said how you feel. After you cut boy in your arm, do you know where you were when you did that?
At that point is when I was staying away from Alex because of the fear. I was at the end of the car and I had my hand placed on the back of the car.
After you cut boy in your arm, what do you do? Well, first of all, is your second shoe on at this point?
No.
When you leave, where is Alex?
Alex is still laying on his coat.
Do you know, or had you noticed whether or not he had his shoes on at that point or not?
He still had his shoes on at that point.
And when you say he's laying on his coat, where is he laying on his coat?
He's laying on his coat near the green trailer.
You've cut boy in your arm.
Yes.
You told Detective Prock that you wouldn't forget. You did to not forget. Today you're saying you're searching your mind and you just don't know.
There's so many things I could think that it could be, but I search my mind, and when I think about this, I really just don't know the answer.
Where do you go after you have cut boy in your arm?
After I cut boy in my arm, I started to make my way down that dirt driveway.
You told Detective Prock that you could not get this outside of your head. What did you mean by that?
I couldn't get the feeling outside of my head. I couldn't get the panic, the visual of the horror of seeing Alex and seeing the blood.
Some of the things that you've said in court, but what I meant to ask you before that was, the way you've related this is a little bit different than some of what you related to Detective Prock when you told him what happened.
Yes.
A couple of days later. And do you have an explanation or know why you remember this a little differently now?
I've had time to process it. I've had time to process it. And the moment, while speaking to Prock, it was fresh, all of the feelings. I was feeling the emotions and the sights, and now I've had significant amount of time to process what has happened to me.
When you told him then that you couldn't get it out of your head, was it like replaying it in order? Was
No.
it fragments? Was it here and there? Was it,
It was fragments. It was even smells. It was just a mix of parts of what had happened.
Stephen Byrne, criminal defense attorney. Explain. She does a nice job of just trying to brush it over. So what you're saying now is a little different than what you told him beforehand. But what that means, really, right? Isn't that like saying you're giving us a different story right now than you did to police right after it happened?
I sense a little sarcasm. I don't know why. I'm just feeling it. I feel it. But I'm going to give that away.
Okay.
Here's the problem. Who here has ever stabbed somebody 16 times? Raise your hand. Okay. You don't know how somebody thinks. You don't know how somebody feels. And somebody can act crazy. They can lie. They are in a place that no one has ever been before. I'm not willing to give up on her quite yet. Tomorrow morning, though, maybe a different story.
Jason, why is it when criminal defendants, after they process everything, right, and I guess there's a process to processing, when they have the new memory, it's always a memory that, if the jury believes it, would be better than the first memory they had. Why does it always work that way? Why do, after they process it, why does it never get worse for the criminal defendant?
That's true, it doesn't. But what you got to look at, Vinny, is the fact that she's admitting to bad facts, and that's one of the things that I think goes to credibility, is that there are certain things that she's saying that could be more self-serving, which she's not saying. And getting back to Steve's point is that there are likely going to be experts called about memory, and we don't know how she's going to react. And so I think there's going to be some jurors on there who look at it and say, well, it may not be how I would react or how I would expect someone to react, but you've got to look at the more nuanced things that she's saying, and it could be more self-serving than it is.
Wow, that's the best that they got. So let's get to the boy carving now, okay, on the arm. And all of a sudden now, she doesn't know why she did it. So let's the jury's gonna think about that as well. What do you think the jury's gonna think about why she carved the word boy in her arm?
Sir, the issue is, think about it. So she just stabbed somebody 16 times. That crime scene looks ridiculous. It is very bloody. So I'm going to use the same bloody knife that I'd stabbed my boyfriend with and then just sit down and just carve. First of all, have you ever tried a needle alone in my arm is something crazy. She sat there and carved it. It wasn't in italic, it wasn't in 12-point. This was her whole forearm that she did that to. So that idea that it's either she's diabolical, it's either that she's or she just lost her whole mind, or she's just playing into what she stated, which is the BDSM, and she took it to the limits.
Your thoughts, Daryl, on how boy ends up on her left forearm?
Well, obviously it ended up there because she put it there. But look,
why did she put it there? Why did she put it there?
Because, Vinny, her truth is evolving. Why is it evolving? Because it has to evolve. Her first stories weren't what was necessary to have her acquitted in her own mind, her own demented mind. So they continue to evolve. I don't know why I did it. I just can't remember. Like the memories, the corners of my mind. She doesn't remember because she cannot reasonably anticipate any type of cross-examination that will have her answer it the way it needs to be answered for an acquittal. She can't remember it because she'll never remember it.
For me, there's only one explanation that makes sense, and that is you've committed a murder, but now you've got to cover it up and come up with a story to tell police, which is what she originally told police, and then suddenly, as they're interrogating her, it all changed. All right, when we come back, more of Erza McCandless on the witness stand, and this is about some of the text messages that were going back and forth. That's next.
He was seeing someone who was identifying as a male.
Erza McCandless had changed her name from Monica to Erza. She is standing trial for stabbing one of her lovers to death. Was this murder?
She fought to survive.
How many stab wounds are too much for self-defense?
Her wounds could have been self-inflicted.
This case is about a twisted form of love.
We got one of those new purple mattresses, and it is amazing. You have to try it.
You didn't need to.
Shh. Just lie down.
Oh, this doesn't feel like memory foam.
No.
This feels amazing.
Right?
What is it?
Actually, it's called Purple, and it's nothing like memory foam. It's a totally unique gel grid technology, meticulously designed to cradle and support the human body. It sleeps cool, it's motion isolating, and honestly, I love it more than 2 of my 3 children.
Cool.
We loved our Purple so much, we got one for the guest bedroom. That way, when my in-laws come, they can stay in my bed and I can come.
Okay, feel that? Adapts instantly.
Honey!
Oh, hey, honey. Yeah, so just showing the guys the new Purple mattress.
For a limited time, choose a free Purple product with mattress purchase at purple.com/TV.
Attention! The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has officially authorized new benefits that Medicare Advantage plans may include. To get the benefits you deserve, you can call the Medicare Coverage Helpline.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. If you're on Medicare, this is important information. I called the Medicare Coverage Helpline and they instantly looked up my coverage. In this one simple call, they offered to enroll me in a plan that includes rides to medical appointments, private home aides, doctors and nurses' visits by telephone, and even home-delivered meals. The plan also includes dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost.
Don't delay. Call to see if the new benefits are available in your area.
Call the number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-497-5903. That's 1-800-497-5903 now.
Many seniors are paying way too much for their car insurance, and they don't even know they could pay less. If your insurance company keeps raising your rates, if your insurance company tells you that because of your age you can't get a lower premium, well, maybe it's time to speak with another insurance company.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more. That could add up to several $100s a year.
How much will you save?
You may be able to save a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
Come on, call now.
1-800-669-7816, 1-800-669-7816, 1-800-669-7816.
This is not a case of whodunit. The person who done it is sitting before you today.
He was seeing someone who was identifying as a male.
Erza McCandless was gender confused.
When I met Erza, I did not know whether she was binary, non-binary, male, female.
She is standing trial for stabbing one of her lovers to death.
Was this murder?
She fought to survive.
One person attacked the other, but who did it?
My girlfriend's car, or my ex-girlfriend, we were kind of in a situation.
Her story doesn't seem believable, so they're trying her for murder.
How many stab wounds are too much for self-defense?
I didn't know what to believe anymore.
I was really afraid.
I just didn't know who to trust.
Her wounds could have been self-inflicted.
This case is about an extreme anger and a twisted form of love.
A big day inside the courtroom in Wisconsin because the defendant took the stand. She is claiming self-defense, and in most self-defense cases, you need to take the stand to tell your story. She not only told her story, she told the story of what her sex life was like with the man that she stabbed 16 times and killed in the back of her own Chevy. Take a listen.
Showing you what has been marked for identification as Exhibit 701. That is an additional exhibit that contains additional text messages between yourself and Alex Woodward, correct?
Yes.
All right. Actually, I'll leave you that.
Thank you.
Specifically, you turn to the third page of that exhibit.
Yes.
All right. Referring on the third page, do you see a text that starts, "People would be jealous"?
Yes.
All right. And that text, in fact, is one from Alex to you, correct?
Yes.
All right. And on that one, it states, "People would be jealous, but wouldn't even know how much better your booty looks without any clothes," correct?
Yes.
Your response to that is, "OMG, I'm blushing," correct? I'm
Yes.
blushing, correct? And OMG is short for "Oh my God"?
Yes.
All right. And then you further respond, quote, "Nobody knows how nice your is," correct?
Yes.
And Alex responds to you, "Oh, but you do. I love how much you love my inside of you," correct?
Yes.
And you respond, "I do. Let's be honest," correct?
Yes.
And the date on those text exchanges was January 25th of 2018, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'd move, again, for purposes of the texts that have been discussed at this point, I'd move the admission of Exhibit 701.
All right. Ms. Fishney?
I don't object to the lines that have been read thus far.
All right. So that portion
part
of
the
it,
exhibit being admitted.
okay, that portion of Exhibit 701 will be received.
I can have 701 back.
Yes. Welcome.
And again, that second set of messages that we talked about in Exhibit 701, those were also deleted from your iPod, correct?
Yes, I had deleted the app, so in return that deleted everything, yes.
Now, you testified on direct that you did not like it when Alex had you in the prone position. Do you recall that?
Yes.
May I approach?
You may.
Sure, copy, counsel. Mr. McCandless, I'm showing you what has been marked for identification as exhibit number 702. That is a photo of yourself that you texted to John Hanson, correct?
Yes.
All right. And on the second page of this is a text where you state, I want to do something similar, but I'd like you to tie me up for it, correct?
Yes.
And that's referring back to the photo that's on the first page of that exhibit, correct?
Yes, for my photo shoot.
Your Honor, I move the admission of Exhibit 702. I asked to publish it to the jury. I have copies for the jury.
All right. Exhibit 702 will be received, again, subject to the previous ruling, and objection preserved, can be published to the jury, but not published on the media.
Thank you, Judge. I'm also going to ask that that exhibit be sealed after the jury sees it.
We'll take that up at a later time.
All right, thank you.
I don't know that I can.
Is there 2 pages?
There are 2 pages, yes.
Any jurors need additional time? Okay, you may proceed then.
All right. Ma'am, you also testified, I believe, on direct about something you called wax play. Do you recall that?
Yes.
All right. You never mentioned to Detective Prock when you talked to him that there was wax play or anything to do with candles, did you?
What interview are you speaking of?
Well, let's start with the interview on March 22nd or 23rd of 2018. You never mentioned in that interview to Detective Prock anything about wax play, did you?
No.
And in the interview on March 24th, the second interview you had with Detective Prock, you never told him anything about wax play in that interview, did you?
No.
So why didn't she? Does that hurt her? I mean, is this a big moment for prosecutors cross-examining her on wax play? Eklund?
Yeah.
McCandless talking about candles.
Yes, so here's the thing. It just goes into her having a session. What she's actually, when she introduced BDSM and she introduced putting boy on her arm, it's synonymous with playing the BDSM session. So because she didn't put down Ezra on her arm or she didn't put down Alex on her arm, it just seems like she's just going along with the session. So I guess introducing wax play would go into, at the end of the day, she probably should have orgasmed because she took the BDSM to the max.
To the extreme.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on the wax play, Steve?
Well, I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I'm not thinking much about this. I am really getting more confused as she's talking and as the prosecutor's cross-examining. What is this? She forgot something. We cross-examine people all the time as defense attorneys. Witnesses don't always remember everything. Jurors forgive people for not saying something. They are less forgiving when they are saying something different from what they've said before.
Jason, a big part of the defense is predicated upon BDSM, yet she doesn't mention that with the detectives. Why not? Why wouldn't she?
Well, I mean, the answer, if I'm prepping a witness, if there's what we call impeachment by omission, you didn't say something, well, I was never asked about it. You know, that I think is why, at the end of the day, the whole beginning of the cross, where we went through all of these literally thousands of pages where they were highlighting various things that they had talked about, really didn't hit, other than to delay in order to get the prosecution to have another crack at Ezra tomorrow morning. I mean, that really, to me, was the purpose of asking that first hour and a half of questions that were really of marginal relevance as it goes to her credibility.
Daryl, as a former prosecutor, do you feel that they are scoring points here with the wax play issue, the BDSM issue, that she is not discussing this with investigators who are trying to figure out what happened here? She's got to describe what happened, but she's not talking about BDSM, and now we're at trial, and it is the foundation of their entire case. How does that happen?
It happens once again, as I mentioned, the evolving truth. It now becomes a necessity. It now becomes the cornerstone of her defense. She has to do that right now because she sees everything eroding.
Will the jury see through it? Will the jury see through it, or could they buy it?
Let's be really simple. Prosecutors like to keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method, keep it short, stupid. And the more direct they can be, the better off they are. Do I think the jury will see through it? Without a doubt. I think each and every juror individually and collectively will see through it. If they don't, I would be very surprised and very disappointed.
All right, you may know what I think about who had a better day, the prosecution or defense today, but we're going to ask our think tank, and you may be surprised by their answers. Who had the better day? We'll find out when we come back.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books, an author-friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish your story. Call us today to get a free author packet to help get you started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process with professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the industry.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, a memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today.
Call 800-552-5978. That's 800-552-5978.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Attention landscapers and anyone working in the landscape industry. This is an important alert for users of the weed killer Roundup that have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Juries have awarded over $2 billion to users of Roundup who were subsequently diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Roundup is the most widely used herbicide in the United States, with billions of pounds applied each year. Farm workers and landscapers are at the highest risk of injury from exposure. Time is limited to file a claim. If you work with Roundup Weed Killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline now. You could be entitled to significant compensation. Farm workers and landscapers are at the highest risk of injury from exposure. If you've been exposed to Roundup and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, time is limited to file a claim. Don't wait. Call the Roundup Legal Helpline right now. You could be entitled to significant compensation.
Call 800-890-4183, 800-890-4183.
We're looking for a few not-so-good drivers. Had an accident? You're probably paying too much for car insurance, if you can afford it at all.
Yep.
Good to Go costs less. Visit goodtogo.com. Get a rate quote in under a minute. Goodtogo.com. It's fast, cheap, and easy.
Best Fiends. Collect JoJo and tons of other cute characters. Solve thousands of fun puzzles. Download Best Fiends for free today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
This is Kate.
Hey.
She takes 2 prescriptions. Kate's son Jack takes one too. Kate works hard and thought she had good insurance. But she still pays too much. That's no good. So Kate downloaded the GoodRx app. Now she can compare prescription prices to find the best discounts. She even beats her insurance price. Good for you, Kate. Good for you. GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. See disclaimer for law firms.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to financial compensation. If you or a loved one used Roundup weed killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call the number on your screen now. The World Health Organization has designated glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup weed killer, a probable human carcinogen. Thousands of agricultural workers may have been exposed to serious health risks by using this product. You may be owed significant compensation from the manufacturer. Call now to find out if you qualify. If you or someone you loved used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait, there are time deadlines to file a claim.
1-800-568-4852.
He suggested that I might want to lay down for a while and maybe just relax. When I laid down, Alex had started to come into the car with me and position himself above me. He started to describe me, and he also started to speak of how he deserves this. He said pet names before, he's sweet-talked me before, but this was different because it was disconnected. It was third person. Well, you're handsome, you're this, you're that. But at this point, at this time, he was saying Ezra is, instead of, it was more as if I was an object. He started to do things slowly and methodically. He first removed my glasses. He deserved this. I had betrayed him. I went back to Jason. He was upset about this and that he deserved me. After he kisses me and I pull my head back a bit, I felt he touched the hem of my sweater. I could feel a pull on it. And I wasn't sure at the time really what he was doing, but I could feel it start to give away. It felt looser, and my sweater had been opened. I'm limp. I'm not moving or resisting or fighting. I'm there. After that, he moves to my pants. He starts to cut through my pants and feel that he's pulled on it to give room so that he can cut through. At this point, he had cut through the inner thigh area of my pants and tights. I could feel the knife start to graze and cut into my skin. I feel it on my vagina. I feel it's inside the hip region. In the past, only clothes had been cut, but this is the first time he ever cut me with the knife. I'm afraid he's gonna kill me because he has a knife, and I'm afraid that he's going to take whatever he wants and he's just going to finish this. My mind is running through his words that he deserves this. My mind is running through all of the possibilities of what he could want, of what he's going to take. I was wondering if he was going to kill me and then he was going to kill himself so that he didn't have to be alone. What I start doing is defending myself. As Alex was grabbing me, I started stabbing him anywhere and everywhere I could. I didn't know what was happening. I just needed to get away. I just needed to get out of the car.
Were you consciously aiming for any particular place when you were stabbing him?
No, it was happening fast, and it was anywhere and everywhere.
Before he gets out of the car and you're doing the stabs, are you trying to kill him?
No.
What are you trying to do?
I just want to get away. I need to get out of the car. I need to get away as fast as I could.
So why do you keep stabbing him while you're still in the car?
Because he wouldn't let go. He wouldn't let me out. I was terrified.
The defendant told her story today, but who had a better day? Was it the prosecution or defense? Let's bring back in our think tank. Jason Lusak out there in Wisconsin. Prosecution or defense today?
I'm giving it to the defense today because I think it's all about motive in this case, and the state's motive is a mess right now. And I think that you've got the witness, Erza McCandless, who took the stand for all day, and really the prosecution cross really started with a dud. And I think that while they have an opportunity tomorrow to obviously pick it up, I think that today the defense laid out a case to allow for some reasonable doubt with at least one of those jurors.
Darrell Cohn, prosecution or defense today?
Well, I think she had a clear smoke screen. She testified about a story, not the truth. I think her performance was Emmy or award-winning by Academy Awards, but it was a story, nothing more. The prosecution.
Eklund Mercy, prosecution or defense today?
I am going to have to say the defense because they actually gave a story. Although it was like a Lady Bathory fan fiction, but it was a story nonetheless. It had the start, middle, and end. And as Jason stated, the state did not have one. We don't have motive. We don't have a reason why. So I'm going to go with defense.
Stephen Byrne, prosecution or defense today?
The defense is going to win the day in this place today and in court today. Here's why. You can throw everything else in this case out the window. When the defendant testifies, that's all this case becomes about. Right now, if the jury had to decide, they would probably find her not guilty. I'm worried for her tomorrow because the prosecution, as Jason said, has all night to prepare. Tomorrow is going to be quite a day.
Absolutely. I'm going to say prosecution. Why? Because of what I didn't see today. This is a woman who had to kill another human being and said she was in fear of her life, and I wasn't feeling it. None of it. It was cold, the testimony. There was a detachment. There was no level of emotion. She didn't bring me into the back seat of that car. So I'm going to say prosecution today.